If you go up to the loft today, you're in for a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train that ever there was will gather there for certain, because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Monday Club. It's really great to see you. I hope I find you all well. And today, well, it's the day before the big Hornby 2021 announcements. And of course, remember last year we had quite an exciting time, didn't we, doing the announcements. Of course, we didn't know about the lockdown back then, so we're really looking forward to all the shows where Hornby could show us stuff and to be able to go and buy these things from model shops and see them running at the shows. And it didn't happen, did it? I mean, I think Alexandra Palace was one of the early casualties of the 2020 year, but we're into 2021. Now, I do know that Boris Johnson is making a big announcement at 8 o'clock if he can manage to find the podium on time. So we will bring you some information about that as we find out. I'm sure people will post about that in the chat. So don't worry about that. At the end of the day, the Monday Club is about being carefree and talking and chatting and hanging out with like-minded model rail enthusiasts from around the world. And it's really important getting through these lockdowns, because it's not just the UK that's given this. It's a global thing, and I'm sure we'll all be glad when things get back to normal. But tonight the main aim is let's go through some predictions. Now, I do not know in the slightest what we're going to have from Hornby. And they don't tell me these things. I will know tomorrow pretty much when the rest of the world finds out. That's how it always works. And I think that adds to the excitement. As you saw last year, gosh,
I was certainly quite excited last year.
Yeah, we even had Michael Day from Hornby phone in. I wonder if he'll phone the show and chat with us again. But gosh, we've got a great turnout. So let's see, who have we got in? Ash Bear, Peter Leyland, Flymo Chairman 1, David Cook, It's My Railway, Map the Dragon Railways, J94, Garthian, Pete Clark, Clive Cobold, Southern Train Girl, Peter Reed, Henry's Transport Adventures and Beyond, Ron B, Ham Shackleton, West London Railway, Patrick Ling, Bagnall Dave, Josh's Train Room, Pudham Junction, Dazza 1977, Stephen Deakin, The Evening Star 92, Rachel Euston, Richard Swiderski, and oh my word, Tim Condrup says, Happy New Year, you and Zoe. Hopefully this year is a better year. And Tim has very, very kindly donated £4.99 through the super chat. So thank you ever so much for that. That's incredibly kind of you. We've also got AD Pullen, Roof Railways, Philip Page, Vatten Demonen, Paul Bottrill, Jeffrey Lane, Donegal Dad, Robin Sliwer, John Murray, Bangor Junction, Carl Brond, Lee Holden, Wamgok, New Layout, Newbie. Ham Shackleton actually asks, will Simon Kohler join us in the chat tonight? I'm not expecting it. I don't even know. I guess he's probably really busy. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Absolutely.
Why? Is there something going on with Hornby tomorrow?
Yeah, I've heard rumours of this. But I suspect that Simon's probably actually getting an early night in, ready to get up first thing tomorrow and be ready for a full day of media type stuff. So it's going to be busy for him. So I would be incredibly surprised if Simon did ring in. But of course, if he did, then I don't.
Then you would take his call.
Well, yeah, I'd also be quite impressed because I'm not sure that he knows my number. Right, yeah, David Cook, absolutely. Please hit the like, guys. We've got 273 people and it's a really great turnout tonight. Shanghai 264359, evening to you. Melchester Model Railway, Ian the Train, James Hardy, Ocean City, Skipsy Trains. Henry's Transport Adventures and Beyond says, Zoe, do you like trains? She likes Gronks because they've got a silly name, but she's not a train person.
I like the artistic merits on some locomotives.
It's the aesthetics on certain things that get her. But
I like pretty stuff.
Very much. Now, I think that let's have an educated guest now and see what people think. Not the kind of way out there like, oh, I'd really love it if they bring out the three-toed Woppet in in the very, very unusual purple and green livery from precisely the June the 5th, 1864.
Was that the day where they let it out without actually checking what colour it was?
Something like that, but no, sensible. We'll go out to the more sort of out there ideas, because Hornby will surprise us with certain things. But my guess is we've just had the RBR, and I've said this over and over again, and I think that a full range of Mark 1s, probably in intercity livery, maybe we'll see some released in Network Southeast, and regional railways would be very much welcome. That's utilising existing tooling and complementing coaches that have just come out. I think also, I've got a sneaky suspicion that there's going to be a Class 56 or two, and that these will be pretty much in the shops within the first week, within this week. And the reason for this is that last year, right close to the end, the Floyd liveried Class 56 turned up all on its own, looking a bit like it was just a weird one. And I've got a gut feeling that that was made as part of a batch, because that's just how these things get made. And I think we're going to see the small logo and large logo Class 56s, maybe even some of the sectorization liveries as well, because they have been well looked forward. And I wouldn't be surprised, given that Hornby have been talking about, they've been plugging the TTS decoders. I wonder if we'll finally see a Class 56 TTS sound decoder. Now, George Botterini, Happy New Year to you. George says, Happy New Year, ladies, and has incredibly generously donated $10 on the super chat. So thank you ever so much for that. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Poshington 01, just seeing you there. Daniel's Highway Model Railways, Train Freak Productions. Yeah, and actually, I was going to move on to this. I think when we come to the slightly more out there, I don't think it's out there, but right. We've had the Rocket, very, very successful. The first class coaches were all done as part of a set with that. Now, I wonder whether the Rocket may have another production run, but just the locomotive on its own. So you'll buy that like you would buy any other locomotive. So I think that is quite a strong possibility. Maybe even have the coaches available separately, and that gets round this limited edition thing with the box sets that we had last year, but at the same time will mop up some of that, the people who didn't manage to get what they wanted last time. We had the third class coach coming out fairly late on in the year, and that makes me wonder, is there going to be a Lion? Now, Lion is the obvious choice, still exists, they can scan it, it's preserved. It featured in the Titfield Thunderbolt, so you can have a film tie-in with that, with the Lomac, with the coach body on it, and the GWR brake van, so that would be interesting. But my gut feeling is that something like Lion may well be one that we're not really surprised, because we kind of know, but I'm very curious on that. Ian the Train suggests an improved Class 47. Now, I think that's dangerous. The Class 47 market is fairly well saturated. Now, we've had a fairly decent model from Bachmann. We've also had the Hellion model as well. So there's a lot of second-hand ones out there. My gut feeling is that at most we might see a warmed-over railroad version, where they might upgrade the mechanics, possibly add lighting, but generally speaking, just go down that route. I think we might see something similar happen for the Class 20. Just got to remember that that's in the range. Now, what might be interesting is some of the locomotives and rolling stock that's not been released for a while. So what I'm wondering about is, are we going to see possibly a railroad version of the Class 42 and Class 52 with TTS sound? That's another good one. I've also seen a lot of people asking for them to warm over their Class 25 and do that with TTS sound. I think what people actually really want to get hold of is the TTS sound chips for the Class 25s. I know I'd be one of those. I've got there's a few of them back there. But yeah,
just a few. Like
when they brought out the Class 8 TTS sound chips. Although saying that, I bought two and fitted them both to Hornby Class 8s. But I think that if they could, we need slimline couplings on it. We need a nice, reliable, smooth-running locomotive and drivetrain. Possibly cab interiors, so when you look through the windows, there's something to see. But with TTS sound in there on the 25. Now, I've a feeling that the Hornby Class 25, is that actually a 25.0, the actual body that they've got? I know a lot of people do say good things about the Hornby 25. Now, it is a big risk with Hellion bringing out their updated Class 25, with Bachmann still threatening to bring out their updated Class 25. But I do think that that's possibly a good one. Right. Let's see what other things. Dave Holloway says Wessex electric unit would be nice to see. Now, I don't know. The prices have gone such that they would be prohibitively expensive. And they've been burnt with the Class 401, the 402, the 403 and the 423 not necessarily selling as well as they might have wanted. The Class 71 as another third rail electric locomotive, that is another one which I think they've got a little bit burnt on. Certainly, whilst we have seen a couple of new release models, things like the 71012 in the rail tops blue, still seeing that out there remaindered. I think the plain green one as well, still seeing that out there remaindered. I don't think we're going to see third rail electrics this time round. They're going to want to build on the 2020 announcements. And I think they'll also try and play it a little bit safe. There will be some new announcements that will be the wow factor. But I think that Hornby needs to consolidate as well and not neglect bringing out the older models with new updated colour schemes and identities. James Hardy says a new LNER D49. Yes, that's one which we're still waiting for an updated version. That would be the Hunt and Shires one, the 440, previously available as a tender drive railroady type model. I could see that coming out. Some people, please forgive me. There we are. The German Flow actually says the Hunslet Jazzers, a J15 done up as a Y14, or London Brighton and South Coast Railway B1 would be nice. Now, of those, I think the J15 in Great Eastern Railway Blue. Now, that is one which they could do. Tooling already exists, and I think that that is another easy shoehorn in. But they've got to remember the J15s, they kind of saturated the market. They're still out there at bargain basement prices. I've seen them. I think Hatton's has got them for around the £69 mark, £79 mark. So they might be a bit wary about releasing that.
69 dudes.
Yeah, 69 dudes. Whoa. But certainly, I think if they can justify other versions, they can't just bring out the Great Eastern Railway one. I don't think just producing that would be economical for them. So that is definitely one to think about. The Hunslet Jazzers, yes. Now, the Manchester Ship Canal Railway had a number of these. There are preserved examples. Middleton Railway in Leeds has some preserved examples. I think there is or was at least one on the East Lancs Railway. Let me just... Oh, gosh, I am well behind. Crossways Point Junction says, Happy New Year to the both of you, and has very kindly donated £4.99 on the Super Chat. Thank you ever so much for that. Upwell and onwards, hi to you from New Zealand. Gordon Hanning is still waiting for their Daypole Mogul. Oh gosh, where's yours coming from? Or have you ordered one that is still to come? I know some of the sound fitted ones, I think they are actually coming through. But yeah, the Hunslet Jazzers. Now, we've had the W4 Packet, then the B2 Packet, and we've also had the Ruston Hornsby 48DS. Now, some people have said possibly the slightly larger 88DS in the same way that they did the B2 after the W4. But outwardly, my opinion is that they're not different enough to be a big wow selling point. So I suspect that what is more likely, and I've seen a few people mention this, the Class 6 shunter. Now, you all remember, in fact, I've got one which... I steampunked for a video for Hornby, but underneath all of that Airfix kit and stuff, that's the old Hornby Class 6 diesel shunter, introduced in the 1980s, I believe. And the idea behind this was that they used the bog standard railroad 040 chassis, but they wanted a diesel outline locomotive, replacing, you know, the older steeple cab and the dock shunter, and they set upon the Class 6. Now, there's a lot of compromises. It only vaguely looks like a Class 6, but that has been out of the range for a few years now, and with Hellion having announced the Class 2. Oh, excuse me, there's a lot of gas in that Coke, which if anybody is wondering, we're drinking Diet Coke. We're kind of not gone teetotal, but just not in the mood for alcohol.
Years ago.
Yes, everybody knows you did. You're the worst kind of teetotal. You're the one who goes around telling other people that they should be teetotal.
I don't tell other people that they should.
You did that when with the other thing, but right, where were we? I think, a Class 6 diesel shunter. Hornby would see that as keeping a model which was always historically a model produced by Hornby in the range. Now we've seen that with things like the Terrier. Hornby do get quite territorial over what they see as other people muscling in on their models. So
on their patch.
Yeah. So I think, nobody's announced a Class 6, but it's the most glaring of BR diesels left to do. And whilst it is historically, it would have been, I think it was a Scottish-based locomotive. There was, I think there was only 10 made it onto tops, but there were more than 10 originally. The 06003 did make it to Reading, I believe, working at the S&T depot, and indeed is the one that survives. But I think that it would play on the nostalgia. A lot of people growing up through the 80s and 90s had that model as one of their early trains. So I think that the Class 6 would be a good, safe choice. Building on the reliability of the W4 type chassis, I could well see that, and that would certainly complement, or at least steal the thunder from Hellion's Class 02 release. All right. Sorry, I need to change the camera angle. Keep reminding me to change the camera angle so that if people get bored.
If you want to show some people something that they won't get bored with, you're very welcome to show them what I'm doing.
The Cupboard Monkey is playing Ticket to Ride. So, voted actually as being one of the most popular up-and-coming new board games before Christmas. I heard it consistently being mentioned as one to get. So the Cupboard Monkey there, and I'm over there, you can just about... Oh, there we are. There's my hand behind the text. This is a great board game. You can get it as a physical board game. We've got a copy downstairs.
But you can also to get you interested in it, though.
Not that long, but also you can get it on a computer from Good Old Games, is it, or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Cupboard Monkey's playing that there. Well worth playing, actually. It's a great game, and it beats Monopoly hands down. So
I'm sorry, but trying to crawl your way out of a bag of sick would beat Monopoly hands down.
No, Monopoly does have its place.
Yes, in the bin.
Joe Light Railway, hi to you. James Hardy says, Hornby, we need more industrials. Very much. I'm not aware of the certainly the BR Class 6s. I don't think any of those were sold on into industry. I stand to be corrected on that, and probably will be any second now. All right, March West Junction TMD says, Jenny, 35 Class 06 were manufactured for BR and retired in 1981. Yeah, there were 10 that made it onto tops. It's a bit like the Class 2. There were quite a lot of the Class 2s, but only 3 made it onto tops. Ham Shackleton says, Monopoly, best place in the shredder. A lot of people asking for the... Paul Gorton says, I know Hornby will never do them, but what are the chances of a ready-to-run Class 502 or 503 EMU? I think you're going to have to look to some of the small suppliers for that, is my gut feeling. James Moody says, do you think Hornby will get territorial enough to do an 86.2 or 86.1 on their 87 chassis? Now, electrics historically don't especially sell. Now, a lot of people have mused about a Class 81, and again, this goes back heritage wise, I think we saw the Class 81 from Hornby 00, or was it Triang? I think between the two of them, it's either an 81 or an 83, which are fairly similar, or an 81 and an 84 we had between Triang Railways and Hornby 00. Now, I wonder whether we might see one or other of those, but what Bachmann found with their Class 85 was that sales weren't necessarily as good as they would have hoped, and it may be a bit of an outside chance on that. A lot of people here saying they love Ticket to Ride, Finley Garden, Patrick Webb as well. Big hello to 1701, the filed flyer. Peter Leyland says, ready to run Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway 060 Aspinall Barton Wright tank. Is that the one that survives at the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway? I'm sure that might be. I think that could be up there, definitely. Skipsy Train says, I'm hoping Rails of Sheffield will confirm that the Class 89 will go ahead. I must ask them about that, actually. What with Christmas and stuff, it's all been very, very busy. I know that they've been quite snowed under. Business has been good, always good when business is good. But of course, the upsum of that is they've been pedal to the metal too much to be able to just chit chat with me. Although I did get a press release, I put that out on the Facebook group today from Rails of Sheffield about the new point CDU that they've released that's made for them by DCC Concepts, and do go and check that out actually. And I know it's one that a lot of people ask from time to time about what the best CDU is. Now up here on Weir Yard I've got a custom made one. Now this was made for me by
Elves.
Yeah, by Elves.
Or was it Elvis?
It is actually a company. And now Paul Tyre of PD Models did tell me the company, and it's Paul Harmon who runs the company that makes these either as kit or ready made, but can't for the life of me remember what the company's called. Now there's also Gauge Master do theirs. I find the Gauge Master one a bit on the weak side. Now I've used that on my exhibition layout, my old exhibition layout, but it only ever had to throw a single point at a time. The new DCC Concepts Rails of Sheffield CDU is a pretty powerful beast, and does look set to be one that if you've got big junctions, say for example you've got a scissors crossover and you need 4 points to fire at the same time, that does look beast enough to be able to do that. In fact, indeed, it does say that it is got the thrust to do that. I know that the one from Paul Harmon, I'm going to kick myself when I can't figure out what his company's called. That is actually beefy enough to flick 4 points at the same time. Right. Beatles says 1701, the file flyer. I think as well there's a good chance of another Beatles themed item. At the end of the day, a lot of the time how these licenses works is you pay for a length of time, and so it would strike me that a Beatles themed release would be up there. Don't ask me what it's likely to be. I'm wondering whether any other multiple units that they do currently have in their range had Beatles-themed vinyls stuck on them, maybe whilst on Merseyrail, or indeed whether they will go for a train pack to tie in with some of the Beatles films. I think, was there a train featured in Hard Day's Night? Could be wrong on that. I'm not a big aficionado of the Beatles. Skipsy Train says Ticket to Ride, that's ride spelt RYDE, as in on the Isle of Wight, involves a rail replacement bus for the next 3 months. Oh, that's a bit of a. I always wonder about that. It's like, why don't you just pay less to go by bus? Yeah. The Evening Star 92 says, personally, I'd love to see a Robert Stevenson and Hawthorne 040 standard tank, and definitely we've seen with the W4 packet that Hornby made an exquisite and reliable 040 chassis locomotive. We've also had that Andrew Barclay from Hattons, which again is another super reliable 040. I'm trying to think who else does a fairly new tooled 040. We've had the Sentinel shunter and the W4 from Hornby. I'm not going to count the ex-Lancashire and Yorkshire Pug because that's actually quite old. And we've got the Andrew Barclay from Hattons, and we've got a Class 2 forthcoming from Hellion. But other than that, I don't think there's anybody else particularly done them. Right. A big hello to Trains, and Thomas West. who says, hopefully a Southern Railway Q class. Now, the Q class as well always seems to get mentioned a lot. The other one that gets mentioned a lot, and I know a lot of you guys have probably been screaming at me in the comments about them, the S160. And I think, my personal gut feeling is I think that that's going to be one of the sort of surprise, in inverted commas, announcements, simply because it's always highly recommended. It's got lots of pretty liveries, and I think that, yeah, a lot of you guys are absolutely right on that. And then Richard Lewis here says, Isle of Wight bogie coaches to go with the Hornby and Daypole Terriers. Weren't they Southeastern and Chatham Railway style bird cages, but slightly shorter? I suspect that they're going to be waiting on the Hattons Project Genesis for those. Although we could yet see a wrecker from Hornby of, I say a wrecker now, what you've got to remember is Hornby, their development cycle is about 3 years for bringing stuff to the market, but they only announced them fairly late on in that. So some of the rap for like, oh, well, you know, you didn't like somebody muscling it on your patch is actually down to the fact that they were already well into the development, it's just you didn't know about it.
Yeah, they can't really just pull the brakes on
exactly, especially when a lot of other manufacturers will announce a model before they've even made CADs of it. So you can understand Hornby's position, even though it may outwardly look a bit like they're the bad guys, they're not. Because they may be like 3 and a bit years into the development. They might actually have like the model ready to go in a warehouse somewhere. Big hello to B2000RO Toys channel. Says, hi Jenny and Zoe, I hope you two have a happy new year. I hope to get out and about at train shows this year. Why don't Hornby make a railroad Stephenson's rocket? I don't think they could. The original molds for the Triang version are gone. Forget about them. Been skipped. I did ask Simon Kohler year before last about that, and pretty
he said,
much.
Who are you?
No, well, yeah. He said,
Who are you, and how did you get in my house?
But whilst we were waiting for the police to arrive, I did have a chat. Right. Right. Hello to Naive Gauge, Samuel Ives. John Morgans, Logan Clary says, I would be very annoyed if Hornby makes a 720 and never makes a 321. Oh, the old, the 321 that's the Ted Rogers, the Dusty Bin.
I love Dusty Bin. He was great.
Yeah, but in fact, did you guys know that the old back in the days of CB radio, you know, Rubber Duck, 10-4 Rubber Duck, and all this sort of stuff. There's a Kojak with a Kodak and a bear in the air. Smokey's got his ears on, all that kind of nonsense. Back in the day,
is this some kind of code?
Yeah, I'm currently circling the point like water, like a little bit of flotsam and jetsam in the water, ready to go down the plug hole. And we're getting close to the plug hole, but no, 321. You know the road markers on UK motorways and also dual carriageways as well. You get the 321 line markers. CB aficionados refer to those as the Ted Rogers because it's 321. Right, there we got there in the end. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, interesting B2000 RO Toys channel, Railroad Kobo Class 28. I don't see that myself. Possibly a Railroad Class 29. They did have the tooling for that up until comparatively recently. I don't know whether that is tooling that has been culled, because we've got to remember a lot of the old tooling got junked, so I'm not entirely sure what they actually have that they could just easily put into production. Joe Light Railway asks, do you know, is Hornby doing anything new for industrial locomotives? I don't actually know anything that they're announcing. I'm basically beating in the bush right now, but we're just we're just having some good educated guesses. Rob Elvery though says, a happy new year to you too. No, I love Monopoly. And I also like Hotel. If you find that game Hotel, that's great.
That's acceptable.
It's My Model Railway says, anyone, will a 12.25-inch turntable cope with all current 00 scale UK locos? I don't know how big it is, but the Pico, I think it's LK55 is the catalogue number, the Pico turntable, the only locomotive which will not fit on it is the Hellion Bayer Garrett. But as the real Bayer Garretts couldn't fit on any turntables anyway, then simply speaking, that's going to be like horrible grating noises for the people at home. Let's see what that actually sees.
That's acceptable.
It will do. I'm just looking there. Oh, I'm waiting for Garthian to pipe up. Yeah, we've been very mean, and the TARDIS is hidden away. Like, oh no, you'll have to have a think. But no, the Pico.
Oh, hello, Sir Patrick Furlong, and thank you so much for your generous donation today.
Ooh. But no, the Pico turntable, you do have to assemble it. It's a pretty easy kit. I mean, let's face it, if I can do it, you can do it, and you can motorise it. I've got mine turned through Meccano. You can buy a motor from Pico designed for it. That will turn anything that you want, 00 gauge locomotives. Island Scenic says, would Hornby do non-British trains? Now, they are the distributor for some of their for all of their other brands, so you can get them, but they don't, make a big thing about them. But there is a Victoria Railways from Australia locomotive that they did pin-pack on their social media last year, which I'm looking forward to. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? Map the Dragon Railways 060 Sentinel. Yeah, the 060 Sentinel, I could see that coming, building on their 040 Sentinel. Now, there were some MSC ones as well that worked up at the Ellesmere Port end of the system, so there's certainly a lot we could do there. Hello to Cooper and District Model Railway Club, evening to you. Right, everybody's wishing you well as well. The Simon Trains Model Railway Showcases, hope you get better. Gordon Hanning says, any Era 5? Mark Wilson asks for the Kobo. Brockwell Lane says, I'm hoping they don't duplicate any other manufacturer's announcements. It always seems a waste when they do that. We've got 440 people currently watching. I think that's an all-time new record. So don't forget to tickle the like button. And also consider sharing on social media, because sharing is caring. And if you haven't already done so, do consider subscribing to the channel and you will be most welcome. Mark Wilson asks for a Class 22, but we've already got the Class 22 from Daypol. So let me just see if I can find one. I've got one from... I bought them when they first came out. Here we are. So the Class 22 has already been done. We've already got that from Daypol. So I really don't see that. I'll be honest with you, we're not going to get a Class 22 from Hornby, or at least I would be exceptionally surprised to see that. I think we're more likely to get the Class 6. Just thinking through, somebody did mention as well the Class 77, the EM2. Now, just do bear in mind that, Hellion have already done that as a special commission exclusively for Olivia's trains. Hattons as well did a deal with Olivia's trains and was selling them too. So the Class 77 has already been done. So again, would be incredibly surprised to see that come out. B2000 Arrow Toys channel, Sterling single from Hornby. I don't think we're going to see that as well. We had the Rapido Trains version with the National Railway Museum. Maybe the Midland Spinner, or more likely, if they're going to revisit the singles, the Caledonian single or the Dean single. Both of those historically very famous Hornby models, and I could see perhaps an all new tooled version of those as being the wow must-have factor that they've had. Also, I think as well, let's not forget Simon can be quite cryptic. And never play poker with him, because his poker face is second to none. He does not let any details out of the bag. He is just incredible at keeping secrets. But
you can't read
one
his
of the things,
face.
Yep. But one of the things last year he said was that the Hornby 00 Duchess of Atholl. His I can't remember his exact turn of phrase, but it suggested that there was going to be a range of models, and a lot of people over the year have been guessing on that. And I was thinking, now there are two options that I can see that might be a good one for Hornby to do and have a flagship Hornby 00 premium version of. One of them is the N2. Now they do have an N2 in their range, but it's the very old ex-Daypol model. I think that is ripe for updating. So it would make sense for them to do a fully super detailed updated version of the N2, have a Hornby 00 version as 69567, which was the Hornby 00 identity of that model, possibly even 69550, which was the 2-rail version. It's quite sad actually that I've memorised all these numbers from a misspent childhood playing with...
Why is that sad?
Oh, I don't know.
You remember something you enjoyed. Why is that sad?
So you don't derail my train of thought.
It's always something that people act apologetic for being nerdy.
Yeah, I could have been memorising things like German vocab and being better at speaking German. But hey, yeah. So I think an N2 fully retooled with a premium Hornby 00 version with the old Hornby 00 identity. That would be an obvious choice, and finally retire that old Daypole model, which is very long in the tooth. Or the other alternative that a lot of people have been asking for, a fully retooled 8F, and again that gives an opportunity for a premium Hornby 00 version of that model. Now I am well behind on the comments, so
how is this different from any other day?
So I am going to skip right ahead and let's have a look. Right, Clive Cobalt asks, Jenny retooled a Mark IIC TSO, FO, FK, BSO and a KB coach. I'm not actually sure what the KB is, but the BSO, brake second open, FK, first corridor, FO, first open, and TSO, tourist second open. So they would be the Mark IIs, possibly. Mark Wilson, updated first generation DEMU. Yes, and actually having a TTS sound in there. I think they should make more of the TTS sound. I've always said, a big fan of that. For a budget introductory sound chip that is actually really good. And some of the TTS chips are amazing. Now the Class 8 is an exceptionally good one, but the other one as well, the Class 20, don't knock the Class 21 because that is actually an incredibly good sound. So just because they're TTS and there's a really good price doesn't mean that they're rubbish, because they're certainly not. Interesting though, Fat Wallet Boy 2 says, could, and it's a big could, we see a Class 87 electric with TTS sound fitted on, maybe just the decoder. Now it's interesting you say that. A lot of people, I saw this online, somebody said that they'd poked around in the Class 87 and it does have the space for a TTS sound for the speaker. You know, the circular speaker, they were saying. Now, I don't actually have the new Hornby Class 87, but that is interesting if that's true, because that does mean that they had TTS sound in mind when they designed that. Now, right.
Tim Dowd is saying, put a bit more speed in the 40. I think you've got them running at the right speed, though, haven't you? You're not even listening to me, are you?
Nope. Hello to Diesel13.
This is what I have to put up with, guys.
Oh, wow. Garthian did spot the TARDIS.
Of course he did.
Yeah, with his TARDIS O-Vision. Stephen Deacon asks for the kitchen... the KB is the kitchen buffet. Right, I'm with you. Richard Swidders. Yeah, a lot of people spotted it. Joe Light Railway asks, what do you think of the Great Western 1500 class pannier in OO? That's coming from Rapido Trains, I believe. I can't remember if either the 1500 or the 1600 is the one that Model Rail commissioned, and then the other one is coming out as a main range Rapido item. Looks interesting, but the only Rapido locomotive I've got is the J70 that we did a review just before Christmas. And that is an amazing model, so I'm really looking forward to that. Finley Garden says, switch camera. Why? Which camera was it on?
Oh, I do switch the camera.
Okay. 57305 Northern Princess.
Not much going on, right?
Retool the Mark IIDs. They are so in need of an update. Tim JD Dowd asks, put a bit more speed on the Class 40.
Well, I said that and you weren't listening. You went, what? What? And you did it in that voice too.
That's what I say to you.
You.
Right, stop that.
Stop that, it's far too silly.
Yes. Yes, and now for something completely different. Right, Ian the Train. Hornby TTS Class 67 is good, don't know. Yeah, the TTS sound chips are amazing value for money. And certainly it keeps the hobby accessible to people on a budget, especially younger people who don't have the kind of money that the full-fat sound decoders actually cost. So I'm a huge fan of the Hornby TTS decoders. Love them, absolutely love them. I've got a lot of them fitted in various locomotives. Now, what's interesting as well is I wonder whether the Railroad Class 40 might be getting a warm over and re-release. There was a Class 40 TTS sound decoder. In fact, you just heard it. That's what that is in that locomotive. I bought one back when nobody was buying them because there wasn't a locomotive to put them in. Neither Bachmann nor Hornby had a Class 40 out. But some shops still had some stocks remaining of the Class 40 TTS chips. So I bought one, I hid it away in a Class 25 for safekeeping, and then when I got the Bachmann Class 40, in it went. Right. We've got 404. Gosh, this is a record turnout. I wonder if we can get over.
Yes, my goodness.
I wonder if we can get 500. Richard Bazina says new Class 66. Again, I'm not convinced. I think the Railroad 66 is actually really good value for money. It's an updated version of the old Lima tooling that Hornby bought. So I think that they're probably quite happy with that. Ben Davis says, yes, a new tooled 8F would be great in LMS Red. Also number 300 in War Department Grey. Yeah, I think there's a lot. There's also, you can have it in LNER livery. The Wartime Black, you could have that BR liveries, but also you could do a Turkish version. They got out to railways in Iran, Iraq, China. So there's a lot of special versions of the Stanier 8F that you could do. Crossways Point Junction, absolutely. Come on, everybody, hit the like button. Thank you very much. B2000RO Toys channel says we're looking into adding sound to our G-scale Thomas the Tank engine with DCC. Ooh.
That'd be nice.
I like transport. It seems as though Jenny has almost caught up on the chat. Comment quicker, everyone. Tim JD Dowd says she's not listening. No, she's not.
You never are. You're in your own little world. You're in Jenny'sville.
T-Bone says, oh, an 8F in Longmore Blue, please. I don't know, did any of them get Longmore Blue? Let's have a look. Apparently we've got 445 people in, but we've not even got to 200 likes. How can this be? Tickle the like button, people. Right, David Scott says 1,500 coming from Repeater. Yeah, I know the 1,500 and the 1,600 were definitely coming from them. John Tipper says Hornby High-Mech diesel with TTS sound would be nice. And yeah, and I think that this is an area that Hornby have cryptically, possibly, it's either a clue or a dead herring. It's one or the other, and we only get to tell with...
herring?
Yeah, it's a Blackadder joke. They were talking in a post, it was either late yesterday or early today, about TTS decoders, which is what made me think, is that a teaser for the range tomorrow? And I wonder whether we could see them really going all in on the railroad range. And what if, now hear me out here, the 25, the 42, the 52, maybe even the 29, they're 101, the class 40, maybe even the 37, all of the locomotives, the decent railroad locomotives, get a release with TTS sound, but also the class 56 with TTS. You know, I think that there's actually a good way of making a really big impact that the modelers will love, with basically budget sound could be the big thing of 2021. Big hello to James Pett. It's interesting that Hornby's announcement coincides with 12th Night. I don't know, does it do that every year?
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Ham Shackleton says that Kit Kat finger is still on the flat wagon in the yard. Kit Kat finger?
It's not. It's just...
the loads. Yes. Garthia, no, you do not sound awful on video, and nobody likes the way they sound on video. Mark Rogerson says, hi Jenny, love your videos. I was wondering, have you any experience with Viessmann lights? I've been looking at a few and haven't found many reviews online. I am aware of them, but I've never used them, I have to say. Joe Light Railway says, what do you think of the 16-inch Hunsler 060 saddle tanks in double own? Will you buy one? Oh, are these the ones from, was it Rapido Trains? Yeah, again, another model really looking forward to. I think that industrial railways are certainly a big area for a wealth of stuff for modelers. We've got the Andrew Barclay from Hattons. We had the P-Class in some of its industrial liveries. We've had the W4B2 and Sentinel from Hornby. We've had the Janus from Oxford Rail. But then we've also had a host of other locomotives that have made it into industrial usage. I wonder if we're going to see, I mean, nobody's mentioned it that I've seen so far, the Class 8, the Gronk. Now, are we going to see, I'd love to see a Rail Blue version come out.
I'd like to see some more Gronks.
Yeah, but maybe some of the other liveries, with the TTS sound making a reappearance. It sold out very, very quick. But what about War Department livery? There was that Dazzle, the Dutch Railways Dazzle.
That was quite interesting.
That would make an interesting special edition, I have to say. But also, I mean, Hornby could do one in a Victoria Railways
Hornby
livery.
Could do one.
Yeah. Victoria Railways livery to match with the, was it the F class that they announced last year? So there's so much that they could do. Fat Wallet Boy 2 says 87006 in experimental grey. Hornby, take my money now. Mark Wilson says a great train robbery train set. Yeah, I don't think they'd want to glorify it. I'd have to say. David,
I certainly wouldn't.
I think they might steer clear of something like that. Oh, right, let's have a look. Gosh. Patrick Furlong says, any chance of ordering something for me to eat, please? You're not feeling so well either.
Oh, no.
AD Pullen, retooled LBSCR E2 and GWR Saint class, definitely. What about the GWR County class? Stuart Barnard asks, how about a Floyd 87? That's an interesting idea. Right, Diesel 13 says, hope there's a re-release of HST and Intercity Executive livery. Actually, I wouldn't mind one of those as well, I must admit, I'm quite taken on that. But also, I think the Blue Pullman HST set, now that is a very much an open goal, and if they don't release that, then really you have to do some head scratching, like, what are you doing? Because that's actually really great livery, it really does suit that. Upwell and Onward says 450 viewers. James Akers, class 142, 143, 144, new tool. Would be nice, plus a class 153. I could see them re-releasing the 153. That is actually quite a good model. Still hopeful of a Great Eastern Railway J69. Actually, yes, I've seen a few people mention that. And or J17 to broaden the Great Eastern Railway market. Garthian, completely agree with you on this. I would love to see the clerestory carriages updated with lights, better bogies, close coupling, and high detail. Could be done in GWR and Midland liveries. Yes, I think that is certainly one with all of these pre-grouping locomotives that are coming through from various manufacturers. I think that is probably a good shout, because the Hornby clerestories that are currently in the Hornby range are quite long in the tooth. I think they may even date back to Triang days. Joe Light Railway asks, what model would you like to see from Hornby? I want to see a Class 56 small logo blue with TTS sound. Would love to see that, actually. I think my collection is ready to take one of those. Class 25 warmed over with TTS sound. That is certainly, I think, a good potential seller. Class 42, ditto. Warmed over, updated a little bit, but still kept in the railroad range and fitted with TTS sound. What else? If we went for, I'd also like to see the J15 appear in Great Eastern Railway blue. But then, see, I always like either the J77 or the J92. I do mention these a lot. Now, the J77 was a Northeastern Railway crane tank locomotive. It's a bit quirky, but quirky sometimes sells. The J92 was the Great Eastern Railway version, so that would tie in nicely with this upsurge in the Great Eastern Railway themes. I think as well the Wath Daisies, the 084 Wath Daisies, were they the S1s or the S2s? Just dredging the back of my mind there. Or the Eames, or is it Beams? Beams 084 LMS tanks. Although from memory they only just made it to BR ownership, so that might kind of count against them. Shani Paxton says the Class 84. As much as I would love to see another AC electric, I'm not sure. Certainly one that got into city livery would be a good option. Canadian Rail fan, evening to you. Sorry I'm late. No, you're not late. The rest of us are just unfashionably early.
Is never late,
Yeah.
Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
But certainly another vote there for the Q class, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Q class. Naive Gauge asks, do you have any experience motorising semaphores in N gauge? Oh gosh, carefully I think. George as well says GWR Centenary boat train carriages. T-Bone says, I used to write to Hornby until they told me to stop. Blairgowrie Forest Railway, Andrew Johnson, good evening. I would like to see an articulated L&E teak coaches. Yes, and maybe tie that in with the Hornby 00 box, because Hornby 00 did do the D2 articulated L&E coaches. Incredibly rare, discontinued very, very early on. I think it's probably the very first model to be discontinued from the Hornby 00 range. Peter Leyland asks for a Great Eastern Railway J68. Dazza 1977 asks, what about the sleeper livery of all the sleeper carriages? Ian the Train, yes, definitely. What about a retooled London Brighton South Coast Railway brake van? Shame present has chassis body clips exposed. Yes, I think we should. They did the London and South Western Railway Warner brake vans. Really, absolutely great vans, but I would love to see them expand. And I think, as much as I would like to see a Barnum 6-wheel brake van, great central livery, I think the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway brake van is certainly a good one. They've got a current model in their range that's not up to modern standards, so retooling that would certainly be a great way ahead. I'm trying to think what other railway companies that they produce models of. No, I think that's probably the most obvious one. Although I don't think there's market for a pre-grouping Great Western design. Tony Wright says, how about a Southern Railway M7 tank with sound? How about one that you could just even fit a DCC decoder in? I've got the London and South Western Railway NRM edition. And even though it came notionally DCC ready with the 8-pin socket, there was barely enough room for the blanking plate, let alone a decoder, and I had to remove the socket and the associated circuit board to hardwire a decoder into that space. Was the only way I could actually get that locomotive DCC fitted. Daz in 1977 asked Jenny, what about the Sleeper Mark IV carriages? Also, we need to keep an eye out for that announcement that's coming at 8. Upwell and onwards, L&ER articulated stock, which was mainly used on the A4 hauled Silver Jubilee Coronation and West Riding services, and in 2 coach liveries, most have forgotten. Yeah, I know what you mean. Although 1701, the Filed Flyer asks for motorised semaphore in any gauge. I wonder if they could make the old Hornby 00 ones again, because they were great. The electrically operated ones, they did several different versions. They did home and distant. They then did the double arm signal, and then they did both home and both distant of the junction signals, but they're colour aspect signals as well, which I don't know if will they be visible on this view. Yeah, that there, and oh, it's just off screen there. They are actually Hornby 00 signals, and they are really, really good. Matt Ovell, hi to you. Lee Holden says, I could imagine a new Lancashire and Yorkshire loco being released, possibly. Right. George says, I once suggested to Hornby a 3-car GWR DEMU. They formed them using 2 rail cars with a collet carriage in the middle. Hello to Jack's Railways, Cotswold Model Railway. We have some modern standard Cornish Riviera coaches. James Aker says, likelihood of a Great Eastern Railway Quint art set. That would be a wowzer model for me if they made it ready to run. I suspect not. I think that'd be too niche and too expensive, but certainly it would be. a wowzer. J94, yeah, with you on that. Midland Region 6-wheel brake vans, definitely. B Mozza LNER triple restaurant set. Yeah, actually, some of these articulated coaches, I think they would have the wow factor, but I suspect that the price might be quite expensive.
The price would also be a wow factor, as in wow.
Oh, and the rail. Actually, that's interesting. More Railroad 31s, they are better than the expensive one. Oh, there's a debate going on there. I've got the Regional Railways liveried one, the full fat job, fitted with Zemo sound, and I really like it. I'll be honest with you. Right, I'm gonna. Oh, I wasn't too far behind. Yeah, up well and onwards. Electric semaphores would be lovely, but my cat chews my signals. Although, if your cat tries chewing a Hornby 00 semaphore signal, it's going to get cracked teeth because they are very hardy. Chris Hales, Heritage Railway, hi to you. Underground Eric, hi to you. Suggesting a Viva Rail D train would be good. Yeah, I've part-built an Island Line Class 484. Need to finish it. Liam at New Mills Model Railway says, what about slip coaches? Interesting thought. J94, it was since Hornby has recently done the Princess Rolls and the Duchesses, then they could produce one from the two Locos. I think that's referring back to previous comments. Dave Holloway also suggests upgrading two bills with lights. Yeah, the two Hal and two Bill, aka the class 401 and 402, can't remember which way around they go. They were a bit weird. They called it, they're a great looking model. I've got a pair of them up there. No lights, which is very, very strange. Right. Joe Light Railway, will there be a Class 88 Loco in 00? I have to see. I don't actually know what there's going to be. But Richard Lewis, LBSCR Gladstone, I suspect that's more of the more niche market.
I would still like to see more of the first generation. So that people can actually have the stuff to run in order to do those very nice old style things.
Although B Mozza says, I didn't know this, the triple set got blood and custard plus the maroon BR liveries. Oh, so it was quite long lasting. That does put it back into contention. Upwell and onwards, the LNER P2 with a 5-pole instead of a 3-pole motor. I wonder whether we're going to see the streamlined version of that looks very much like an A4, the rebuilt form. James Akers predicts a Class 31 in either Rail Freight, Red Stripe or Regional Railways. But Map the Dragon Railways says Simon is probably sat watching this saying, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
God, need, God.
Yeah, maybe next year. Yeah, it'd be like, keep guessing, suckers. You'll never guess the wow factor. But there's going to be something that nobody will spot and everybody will go, whoa. Never saw that coming. Yeah. And I think that some of what we've been saying tonight will be in that range. It's just simply a case of working out which ones. It's easier to predict re-liveries to some degree, but all new models, I think the only ones that I would put money on would be, I'd put money on a Lion. I think, if I was going to go for like the 50-to-1 shot, I'd put money on there being a Lion. If I was to go, tonight? Yeah, but in terms of re-liveries, I would say Dead Cert will be Mark 1 coaches coming out in intercity livery. I would say 3-to-1 for a Class 56. And if we do see the Class 56 Dead Cert, that will come with TTS available in the range. In terms of the more out there stuff, I think we're going to see another industrial. I think my gut feeling is definitely another industrial. Although a Class 6 shunter, I wouldn't be surprised at that. Right. Patrick Furlong asks how we're doing. Yeah, we're all right. Naive Gauge says, all right, so Island Scenics is going to go and listen to the Prime Minister, so we don't have to. Why am I getting a spinning beach ball of death?
You shouldn't be, because everything's still running on my monitor.
I'm
monitoring the chat, and everyone is still here.
Yeah, I'm just. We are still green on the the. No, it gets to a certain point and then just stops.
No, it's still running for me.
Huh. Finley Carden says, when are we doing the videos? Sent mine in. That'll be probably in about half an hour or so. Right, let's get up to date. Yeah, I think my copy of YouTube has crashed, so I'm just going to bail out and go back in.
Always a good plan.
Yeah, my phone has decided that the internet doesn't exist, even though blatantly it does. So I'm just going to turn Wi-Fi off. I hate iPhones.
Turn it off and then on again, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I shouldn't have to do this.
Well, you do.
Right, and now we're reconnected. Let's go back and find the stream. People are probably typing manically going, hey, let's get loads and loads of comments up. Why do I now get mobile data as
Jen, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the internet. Everything is fine here. I can see it.
Chill, chill, chill.
It just, oh, you frustrate me so much sometimes with your
right.
techno-Luddite act. Why is it not working?
Yeah, right. Yeah, if it wasn't actually, the reason I thought that, like, oh, I'm up to date on the comments was simply that it wasn't updating.
Well,
so,
it is now. Yeah,
right. Daniel's OO Model Railways, what time does the new announcement come out? I think it's about 10 o'clock, but we're going to be doing a live stream from 9:30.
From 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, is it? In that case, we're going to be starting at 9.
No.
Oh, we're starting
at 9:30.
We're starting at 9:30, so the live stream will be on from 9:30, giving people time to join.
Mark Wilson says Boris is on. He's announcing the Hornby Ridge.
Right, he's there going. I've got the spoilers, boys and girls. Yeah, good God, we're losing audience hand over fist.
Oh yeah, everyone needs to know what's going on. That's why I am now looking at all of the information on the news.
My predictions, people. I think a new Tier 5, and we're all going to be in it.
Yeah, it's good.
Upwell and Onward says, yes, more Era 1 models. Southern Train Girl says, I know how you feel, Zoe. My dad's exactly the same way. Yeah, my dad's like that as well. And the thing is, I used to be really good with computers, and then things moved on, and I got left behind somewhere near Windows 98 2nd edition.
Map the Dragon Railway. You've got a lot of willpower there. He says he's still got his Xmas money ready for the new range.
It's probably safe. Somebody's asked for the monkey cam, but if I go to the monkey cam, it has been very tastefully posed
that you can't see me because I am not well.
The monkey doesn't want to be seen, it has to be said.
Yeah, I accidentally poisoned myself, so you don't want to see me.
Alright, Garthian says another lockdown for all of the UK is my guess. I think so. I like transport. Big hello. Long time no see. I haven't seen you in for ages. How are you doing? So I'll try to be here for 9:30. Look forward to it tomorrow. Really looking forward to seeing you all there as well. But yeah, great to see you. Finley Garden, everybody, let's going up on Simon.
Everyone's in national lockdown.
Yeah. Matthew,
due to the amount of pressure on some of the hospitals. Basically, because of the combination of flu and coronavirus, the NHS in some areas has been overwhelmed.
Yeah, and also people who didn't bother with the lockdown and kept going around licking door handles.
Yeah.
Garthian, yeah, we haven't moved it. Unfortunately, the TARDIS tends to get helped around the layout by the Cupboard Monkey, but the Cupboard Monkey is really unwell at the moment, and I don't want the Cupboard Monkey moving around too much because we haven't really got anything to catch anything that goes wrong. So we're just letting the Cupboard Monkey simmer.
Yeah. Stay-at-home orders, unless you're...
Yeah, Manthony, 1956. Windows 98 was a favourite. Boom! Back in the good old days. Windows 98 SE, because SE brought in better USB support. It's my model railway. PM says schools closed except for essential workers. So basically, it'll be business as usual for me because 4 days of the week.
Well, yeah, you're an essential worker.
Yes, I go out and I make sure that when you. It's essential. Basically, if I don't go out to work,
you can't get 20 tons of turnips to Tesco.
Yeah, well, I don't go to Tesco.
It's a joke.
Yeah, okay. Got to do that annoying Ross thing.
No, it's two hands.
Yeah, I've got something in my hand. DAZA 1977, that's actually a good idea. What about bringing out the car transport wagons? Certainly they've done well for Oxford Rail, the car flats. I think Bachmann brought some out, and they kind of came and went. They also had the IVA, the double deck ones. They're actually quite an old model now, but yeah, I mean they've got immense play value. I could see railroad version coming out.
I'm getting worse after this.
Yeah. Gwian Reese Davies says Win 98 SE was my first personal OS. Can I say that when I started using computers, it was BBC Basic? Shut up!
It wasn't BBC Basic.
Was it?
BBC Basic was inbuilt. What you actually had was BBC OS.
Oh, Amiga Workbench. Yes, Patrick
Workbench
Furlong.
was alright, but
I had an Amiga 500.
I'm sorry, but you cannot beat MS-DOS 6.22.
Yeah.
Not 6.0, because that was terrible. 6.22.
Well, that was the last version of DOS that was available as a standalone DOS.
Super compressed, so it was super fast, super efficient on memory.
It came on 3 floppy disks, from what I remember.
Yeah, and you could do everything with it. And then, on top of that, of course, you could stick Windows if you absolutely needed a graphical interface. I've just been told by Anthony Lee Dickinson that they've remade Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
Who? What?
Alex Kidd in Miracle World, the original big guy mascot for the Sega Master System.
Oh, hold on. David Crompton says Tier 5. Does that mean that Tier 5, did I call it?
Yeah.
Wicked Insanity, hi to you. Matthew Dunmo says, would like to see a Queen Victoria coach pack with an Era 1 locomotive. Yeah, I think Era 1 is a big untapped period. I think that...
This is what I was saying all year, wasn't it, after the Rocket came out? Let's have more of the first stuff, so that all of those people who bought the Rocket have a nice layout that they could run some stuff on.
And Stephen Cameron, hi to you. Liam at New Mills Model Rail. Oh, everybody's talking computers now. You and your bad influence.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you should be.
I'm not.
You should be.
I'm saying I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Alright, It's My Model Railway clarifies it's alert level 5, not Tier 5.
Yeah, there isn't a Tier 5. Tier 5 would be nonsensical, since that's just a national lockdown.
Gwian Reese Davies says, I have a 6x86 686 build with 98 SE. So 686, that's the AMD K. Is that the K2?
Roof Railways, the videos are being shown in about 20 minutes.
No worries, yeah, 20 minutes or so. David Crompton, glad to hear your wife is improving.
We've got an interesting question from Daniel's 00 Model Railways. Don't think you've mentioned it. What do you think the new Collectors Club locomotive will be?
I think it'll be a little 040 railroad shunter, because it always blooming well is.
What colour?
Last year was red. Do they do a different colour every year? Well, last year was the centenary year, so it had a centenary logo. I think we're going to get back to... I wonder if they'll do it in Liverpool and Manchester Railway livery.
Mark Holt, my goodness. He says to me, after your Dizzy stream the other day, I found out that I own £6,000 worth of Codemasters. Since they're likely to be taken over by Electronic Arts, I might be in for a windfall. Well done! Well done!
Spend all that on trains!
Yeah, you could buy your locomotive.
Yeah.
You could buy one of the really nice Bachmann ones. They're quite expensive.
We're supposed to be talking home. Now, Simon is at home going, need, got. What? Bachmann? How dare you mention the competition?
Where's Batman?
Batman.
Oh,
Although
I shouldn't laugh too much. I'm really killing myself here.
But Bachmann actually, they're doing their quarterly announcement soon. I'm quite keen to see what they come out with.
The Millet 9257 says, I think these computers will catch on. I see every town having one in the future.
Every town? That's decadence, that is. Right, I also think, to get back, meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm wondering, are we going to see... let's have a talk about wagons. We've talked coaches. We've talked a little bit about accessories. We've talked about sound chips.
You always like those little coal hopper things, don't you?
I think that we're going to see reintroduction to the range of the HTO coal wagons. I think they're going to come back in. In terms of, I think the
Bachmann.
I think the special parcel vans, the ex Blue Spot Fish vans, the Blue Spot Fish vans, might make a reappearance. I'm just looking over what I've got over here. So Blue Spot fish fans. I did HTO hoppers. Was that the HTV was a completely different hopper? Maybe we're going to see the HTV, the old household coal hoppers.
Household coal hoppers?
Yeah, well, they were hoppers that carried household coal.
Oh, right, I was thinking, are they a smaller size than the other ones?
Gwyn Rhys Davies, Pullman livery class 43, definitely. Manthony 1956, one of the US distributors, has released a KISS train set.
Wow.
KISS, as in what? Like
in the band?
The band. That's not a third, is it? They do go in for a lot of this, but they're based on real locomotives that were painted in those sort of liveries.
Were they made for loving you?
They wanted
It's
to,
a
we
KISS
built.
song.
Who did we build this city on rock and roll?
I don't know. But I'll tell you that, they didn't get planning permission for that. You need solid foundations. You can't go building things on rock and roll.
Brian Mozzer says, Eastern Region 6-wheel BZ full brake. Possibly, yeah. What about the Stania BZs 6-wheel full brakes? Yeah, people are coming back from Boris, all locked down again. Ron B, fish fans with TTS smell decoder. Although Peter Leyland, pale blue liveried Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway butter vans, did they last through to the BR period?
Adrian Warwick says, if you have a Raspberry Pi, try Riscos. It's very fast and ultra compact. I remember Riscos from school. We had the A3000s in the computer lab, and Riscos was what they ran on, and it was alright.
Anyway, save this for your channel that talks computers. But
yeah, come over to Game Hammer one day.
T-Bone says there was a lot of froth over a possible HAA sighting. They actually do have what I consider to be a pretty reasonable moulding for the HAA hopper. So I could see that reappearing. Yeah, I think that's probably a good cert in the wagon department. I wonder if the Hull and Barnsley Railway van will make an appearance. New, fully retooled version. You may remember it from back in the day. Carried all manner of fictitious liveries like the Weetabix van. That might be nice to see, getting the super detailed treatment. Or what about a Western, ex-Great Western Mica B? That would certainly be an interesting wagon. Yeah, everybody's saying same lockdown as March.
Well, yeah, this was expected, guys. This was the price to pay for Christmas.
Daryl Hearn and Mark Holt point out that it's Starship who built this city on rock and roll without any kind of planning.
No planning permission. That's why it fell down. That's why it fell down.
But this, right, Harpic Station suggests LNER B17, but streamlined. Possibly a bit niche.
Patrick says, in defence of computers, Jenny, aren't computers used a lot for the Monday Club? Nope. We've just got a little gremlin that sits next to the telephone line and whistles all the code into the internet.
No. What it does is it gathers up all of the sound in a big bucket, and then it's got a funnel, and it gently decants that into the phone line, and then from there, wherever it goes, who knows. Right, Tony Wright, brake vans with interior lighting and working brake lamps. I can see that being a definite excellent thing to bring ready to run to the hobby, because you could use a decoder to actually not just control the brake lamps. It would be directional, so basically it would either have a brake lamp on one side or the other that comes on depending on which direction you set it to go, but lighting, and maybe even provision for a TTS sound chip. What?
Garfield says, so he stopped calling Jenny a gremlin.
Hey.
And then Ben Tullett says, can we have an Andrex toilet paper themed wagon from Hornby? It would sell out in seconds.
Yeah, with all the bog roll bandits. Can I ask, for our overseas viewers, did you have the people who were buying like a lifetime supply of loo roll as soon as they caught a whiff of a lockdown?
Don't mention loo rolls and whiffs in the same sentence, Jen.
It was done on purpose. Paul Higgins says, fish fans, they're already sold. dear. Right, James Akers says, I love a cheeky lockdown. It's funny, nobody else does. Ryan G suggests TransPennine IEP, ScotRail Adventure 153s. Yes, I could see that. Plus more versions of the 66s, maybe London Transport 20s. Yeah, I think that Hornby, I'd like to see more done with the railroad range. Not necessarily like making them dirt cheap and crummy, but making them a budget conscious alternative to like 200, 300 quid locomotives. East Coast Steam suggests GWR 6-wheel brake van. I have a kit built 1.0 gauge and it's cool. Oxford Rail tried the 6-wheel brake van. It's quite a nice model, except for they accidentally tooled it up with a window in the back that makes it look like a bungalow.
Who bungled what? Zippy and George?
Madon Steam Railway says, I'm absolutely sick to the back teeth of this COVID. We're locked down too many times.
I don't think anyone's enjoying COVID.
No, I must admit. But it's one of the reasons that the Monday Club, we're always here every Monday because we know how important it is to have that human contact, to hang out with like-minded people, and we're going to get through this. So don't... Ooh, are we getting the notorious backman squeal, I think, from some of those Mark 1s?
Right, guys, while Jen's talking, we're going to be here, rain or shine, don't worry about that. But I'm going to call it now. It's 8:15. In about 15 minutes, we're going to start with the videos. So if you have any videos that you want to, of your own, you can't send in other people's because we don't have permission to show them. But if you have any videos of your own, send the URL to Zoe at zoerobinson.com. Well, if we have loads, we'll go for an extended session since we're here. But either way, we're going to be showing videos from about 15 minutes time, guys. So I'm going to put the URL into the chat. And it's Zoe at zoerobinson.com.
Right, sorry, I was just messing about with the gronk.
Yeah.
Roger Woolston says, who remembers an ATF wallpapered using sulphite paste? I think it was a Black 5, and that was filmed at the Keighley-on-Worth Valley Railway. And apparently it wasn't easy to get that stuff off, it turns out. Somerset Trucking and Transport says, would love some Mendip rail wagons. Right, yes. B Mazza says, LMS 6-wheel Stovar was done by Hornby Mag by Dapol. I'd love to see that reappear, actually. They're getting quite tricky to find.
Sam Trent says, did that gronk just move?
It did.
Ooh.
A.D. Pullen says, re-livery a B2 in Ford car livery. Is that the Peckett B2? That would actually be quite good, you know.
Mark Holt says, you two need to take a break at some point. The Monday Club will understand and be back eagerly when you return. No, I don't think we could.
Flymer... Oh, right, so yeah, that's fine. You just putting the details.
Paul Higgins says, can we have the Jenny Club every night, please? Unfortunately...
You can have a gold-plated Rolls Royce. If you pay for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we need to be able to pay the bills. So we can't do the Monday Club every night.
But we are going to have the Tuesday Club tomorrow, which is the infrequent thing that we do when announcements are made. So join us tomorrow morning from 9:30 a.m. GMT.
Yeah.
You'll have to work it out from your time zone.
Speaking
if you're in a
of tea, I'll be back in a minute.
Bring the crisps up, would you? Stevie Films says Blue, Network Southeast and Big Logo 50s, Blue and Rail Freight Sector 56, Blue 08, Boom Boom Boom, Network Southeast and Intercity Mark 1s, like you said, Jenny, overdue a Blue 31. There was a Blue 31 in the range. I think they're still selling them. So possibly not the Blue 31, but everything else you said there. Russell Benton says, concert iron ore wagon reintroduction, obvious. They're the old LNER hoppers, aren't they? Immense play value for the bottom discharge unloading. But is it KR Models announced the air-actuated bogie hoppers? So we will be seeing them, I think, this year. Matt O'Vale will be watching tomorrow morning. Just don't tell my work. Going to the dogs, Hornby 2021 hopes, Class 56 in blue and also large logo in blue. coal wagons unweathered with yellow cradle and also the red cradle version. Upwell and onwards. Be nice to see LMS Red 8F and Ivet Class 2 Preservation era liveries. East Coast Steam asks, do you think the live steam range will ever come back? From what I understand, it was deemed too expensive. They didn't have the sales to justify its development, and although it was a technical success, I think they broke even on it, but it wasn't deemed something to devote manufacturing space on, because it wasn't the runaway financial success, I guess, that they hoped. Ben Tullett says, actually that is an interesting one. I still want to see a manufacturer do a model of the Andrew Barclay fireless locomotive. Now, if you want to do a surefire way of doing it, buy an expensive kit and start building it. The moment you finish, a ready-to-run manufacturer will bring out a model of it at a much reduced price. George Botterini says that's 4 a.m. in the eastern US. We will be doing that announcement live from 10. I've actually sent an email to Hornby asking if they can email me the details at the point that it's announced, because I know that the Hornby website will fall over and we'll do a lot of finger twiddling if we suddenly find it crashes and we don't have any of the information. So I'm hoping that they will send me an email bang on 10 o'clock. I'm not asking for it early, just so we can make sure that we can go through it with everybody. Garthian asks for TPE liveried Azuma 800/801 would look good, no yellow front. Yeah, Russell Benton says, yeah, my attempt at humour. Hornby had a concert iron wagon back in 7. Looks nothing like the real thing. No, I think actually, because I was reading up on the concert iron ore trains. Prior to those bogie hoppers, they were old ex-Northeastern Railway hoppers that were used to take the iron ore up to concert. And I have a feeling they may have actually looked like a much better version of what Hornby did. That was very much a railroad thing with the play value of the opening hopper door on the bottom. I had one of them as a kid, actually. It was great play value. But you had to make sure that the wagon that it discharged into was at least the same size, otherwise you got stuff everywhere. DL Warren says, I might try and watch from work, but I'm a teaching assistant and the kids might notice. No! Make it a great lesson that they will never forget. Wheel out the TV of ultimate joy. You knew it was going to be a good lesson when the TV on a stand with the bulletproof box with the VHS recorder in got wheeled in. Boom! That is a great lesson. Fat Wallet Boy 2, great to have the Hornby announcement to help keep our spirits up tomorrow. Definitely, absolutely. T-Bone says a new travelling post office would be nice. Yeah, because the old Hornby 001 had the fire it out the side action. I think I like the idea of a working TPO coach. That would have the play value. Big hello to Wiven Model Railways, great to see you there. John Wayman, Hornby D49 without traction tyres, definitely. AP Technical Services as Zoe, can you repeat email address for video pics, please? It's zoe@zoerobinson.com. Send the links, don't send the actual videos, otherwise it will just break in the process and not get through. And that's Zoe, spelt Z-O-E, which is the proper Greek spelling. Roger Wolstenholme, any Highland loco like a Sky Bogey? Highland Goods, or is it the Jones Goods? The one that was in like all over yellow. It's a 460. There is a preserved one. It did feature in the film. Those magnificent men and their flying machines. So that would certainly be an eye-catching one. Leslie Gilpin, Highland River 460. Stephen Cameron, I vaguely remember seeing a Class 50 in blue Pullman colours. Real, not model. Never found out why it was done that way. Not familiar with that. John N from NC says, hi, I'm back. Definitely. Richard Lewis, anything to get the kids interested. Definitely. And I think that expansion of the TTS sound range, I like the idea. I'm very sorry, I forget who suggested it. But the having DCC control in brake vans to give lighting and tail lamp functions, and I would add to that also TTS sound function. You could have a TTS sound chip, and you would have what sound functions would go in a brake van? I think flange squeal, buffer and coupling clanking, guard's whistle, maybe a couple of voices. We saw the voices in the Daypole water tower. There's no reason why you can't have little vocal snippets on the sound file. I think that might be a really good thing to have. And it would need something like a stay alive in as well, possibly, or certainly some kind of electrolytic capacitor circuitry to mean that it doesn't keep losing power, or it certainly would have to have a lot of weight in to make sure that it definitely had good electrical continuity. John N from NC says, love your show, I've learned a lot. Thank you very much. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Paul Higgins asks, oh, it's just moved. If you could create a train set, Jenny, what would be in it? It depends on the brief for the train set. For a starter set for kids, I think play value. I did like the railroad operating TPO set. I think that really does appeal to kids. It's got to have sidings and possibly a loop. Kids like to play around, shunting, things like that. I would say as well it needs a tunnel. Every kid likes a tunnel. But in terms of something for people who are more like at this sort of stage of modelling, what I'd like to see is not so much train sets, but maybe just literally a train set where you get the locomotive and appropriate rolling stock in a box. Forget about the controller, forget about the track. What you effectively want is to go into a shop and effectively have a curated train picked out for you. So for example, you could have the Class 56 freight MGR Freightmaster, and you'd have sound fitted Class 56 and a selection of HAA hoppers, and you buy that in a box as a set, and it effectively is, like I said to you, it's a curated train that rather than going, well, I need a locomotive, or what wagons do I need to go with it, it's just like a train in a box. Right, Richard Swiderski, tea brewing in the brake fan. Yeah, that's a good sound, we could have that. Yeah, Ham Shackleton suggests as well. Garthian says, would you be surprised if I suggested the LNER U1 Garrett or even the 040 Industrial Garrett as used by the NCB at Atherstone? I see them as potentially being more of a Hellion thing, but never say never. Patrick Webb says, if the brake van doesn't refer to Mr. Oliver, then I'm not interested. Is that an Ivor the Engine reference? Mark Wilson, Class 47 XP 64 livery. David Scott, glad I have all the bits I need to complete my layout rebuild now that I cannot go out at all. Don't forget though that model shops will be still offering mail order. I know a lot of them are stepping up the business with that. Not just the big boys, but do consider supporting your smaller local model shop either via telephone or email or through their website if they've got a website, because they now more than any other time need your support. But yeah, I think the other thing as well is that track has been in short supply all year. So Hornby could actually do quite well by launching a good honest value set of decent track and getting that out there en masse, because Pico track is really difficult to get. I think what they really need is decent points. Oh, you're right. I've got decent points and some decent flexi track. Now, in the past, they've had two different types of flexi track. Are you all right? Oh, I think what we should probably do is go to people's sent in videos. Work our way through those, and I think that we then need to work on we'll finish once we've got through the videos, because unfortunately the cupboard monkey is not feeling very well here, so I'm really sorry about this, but we are going to Bang got your junction cardboard, Ivor the Engine with sound. Ben Tullett, TTS station sounds, men's toilets. All I can think of is the if you ever seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the bit with the Wild West where the guy's in the little grotty privy goes do 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 do, oh do 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 do. But that's good play. But kids love that sort of stuff. Retired Leo, hi to you. John PW22, hi to you too. Gosh, we've gone back past 400 viewers on. Don't forget to tickle that like button. Share the stream on social media, including Facebook, Twitter, that sort of thing. Let other people know that we are here and everybody is welcome. And also, we're just about to start showing some of you guys' videos that you've sent the links through to Zoe at zoerobinson.com. Remember, send the links to your own video on something like YouTube. Don't send the actual videos, otherwise you'll just crash the email system.
Not just that, but we've seen it before when... Yeah. I've actually showed it multiple times now, what happens when someone sends the attachment itself. And it's like, it's too big to show, so you'd have to download it. Yeah. But we can't, we don't have the bandwidth to upload and download at the same time.
Upwell and Onward says, yes, an industrial 040 plus 040 Garrett would be incredible, even though the Locos only won 3 liveries. Paul John says, I had the Hornby mail coach set. It hurled metal mail bags across my old Hornby 00 layout. Oh, definitely.
That sounds like fun. Okay, we have 17.
Manthony 1956 says, if you get them queued up, then what I will do is I will keep reading the comments. Do UK brake vans have heaters? Smoking stove exhaust was once popular in the US on caboose models. Yeah, they'd have like a potbelly stove in there that they would feed with coal and stuff, especially in winter, until they glowed cherry red. Yeah, train pack. B. Mozer and Jay corrected me on that. See you later, Bagnall Dave, and it's been great having your company. You take care, and we'll see you hopefully next week. Marin Garvanovic, Jennifer Hornby did the train packs, and Kerner also add to theirs with their own sets.
Isn't that Garvanovic?
Yeah, it could be, yeah. Dazza 1977 suggests, what about the wind-up trains with a key for the kids? The only reason they kind of did that was because battery technology was a bit rubbish back in the day. I think these days, I think that the idea of remote control battery operated stuff might be an interesting one. Right.
Okay, I'll go out first.
Right. Southern Train Girl says, Mr. Oliver is a Thomas and Friends Loco, the Class 14XX. I thought it was just Oliver, not Mr. Oliver. But yeah, there's Oliver, the 14XX. Roof Railways, yeah, the videos that people have been sending in. We're going to start working our way through those.
This is a Dapol O-Gauge shunter and Warwell wagon for Christmas from Chris's Trains.
So this is from Chris's Trains.
I think we've seen this layout before, but it's always nice to see it again.
Oh, that is nice. I do like the Dapol O-Gauge models. I think Dapol have really raised the bar. Oh, that is quite a smooth
one
pickup.
Of those,
I've got the Wagons in 00, but they do look nice in O-Gauge.
This looks like the kind of run that you would adore.
Yeah, it's 3-rail track, but is that actually converted to 3-rail, or do you have your track set up so it can run both 3-rail and 2-rail separate from each other?
That would be an interesting way of doing things.
And it's possible to do.
Yeah.
I think Trick's twin used to do that back in the day. B. Mozer's got to go. It's been great having your company, and hopefully
he loves the driver in the cab.
Oh,
I hadn't even spotted the driver.
Oh yeah, look, wedged in the door. Oh, that is a
nice.
That is nice. Brilliant. There's so much fun stuff going on this. It's what I like in a layout. Lots of fun stuff.
It's an enormous wreath on that town hall.
That is actually a bit.
It's like someone's trying to do the ring toss. It didn't quite get it over the spire.
Definitely. Marin Garvanovic says, sorry to hear you're not feeling too good. Lemsip with honey and bed for you. Take care. Actually, we will go straight to bed after this.
I can't. Jen wants some videos done
Oh
So-
yeah, you didn't do that earlier.
No, because I was ill, Jen.
J94 says I have the exploding boxcar that Triang did. They did the giraffe that ducked as well. Right, so we're going to move on to the next video. Thank you very much for that. Was that Chris's trains? Was
Yep,
it? Yeah, Chris's
that was a
trains.
really nice one.
Mark Wilson, the Hornby Class 37 mail set was my first set in the 70s. Hours and hours of fun. Right. Hello to Ewood Railway. Graham Smith Thompson. Yeah, the mica. The ventilated refrigerated van. Is it the Mica B? That Hornby 00 did a really nice super detail model of it. That was carried over. Wren kept making that through until certainly the mid 1980s. But a modern, fully nicely tooled up version would be nice. Also, a Southern Railway refrigerated van. They were pretty things, and they did actually survive through to the BR days. That would be a nice addition to the range. Oh, right.
So next up we have
Liam at New Mills Model Railway. I pressed the button, but you hadn't made it ready.
No, I was trying to get your attention.
Oh, right.
So we've got Liam at New Mills Model Railway with a rather nice 2021 running session. This looks lovely. I like the space between the bits that we can see in the background. Gives a real sense of depth and makes it more real.
Interesting. Stevie Film says, I'm planning on 3D printing the Huntley and Palmer's Bagnalls. Were these the fireless locos? They were works numbers 2473 and 2474, of which 2473 survives on a farm near Bradford. Interesting. Yeah, that would, because the Huntley and Palmer's W4s did really well. Are we going to have to call off early because you are struggling?
Jen, I am struggling, yes, but it's because I accidentally poisoned myself. I will be fine. I just need to get through it. So let's keep going. We're fine. Don't worry.
Manthony 1956. Trix Twin did run 3-rail in HO. Yeah, you could run 2 trains at once using the fact it was 3-rail track, but you'd have a common return, and one train would pick up from the centre rail and the other train would pick up from the other track. It was one of their gimmicks.
Richard Swiderski says this is a lovely layout, and it's absolutely right there.
Yeah.
The texture, the depth, everything about it's really nice.
Ian the Train says, my first train set was Trying Princess Elizabeth Green with 3 coaches about the mid-1950s.
I recognise some of the stuff that's coming up here on the station.
Yeah.
Some of the little awnings on the station. They've gone off the screen now, but
yeah. Oh, there's some nice
you've
wagons.
seen them. We saw them on
yeah.
What was it?
Clive
Trinity
Cobalt.
Road, that was it.
Yeah. Clive Cobalt says, Jenny, I have to see you tomorrow at 9:30. Good night from Northern Ireland and good night to all in the chat. Stay safe and well, guys.
Oscar Lego says, evening. Sorry, I'm late. I've been working. My goodness.
Hardy Hat says, hello, you silly humans.
Working. Jen knows what work is sometimes. She's seen me do it. Oh, that is nice.
It's like
that Metcalf kit.
Well, and it does look good actually.
Yeah.
I like the way that the station fits in there with the tunnel and everything.
Yeah.
Lovely signals as well.
That's a lot of locos on that bridge.
Is that the 72XX tank? I think that is actually. Yeah, it's the Mikado tank, the only tank locomotive in the UK built with the Mikado 282 wheel arrangement. Yes, I know about the P1 and the P2, but the 72XX was the only tank locomotive.
I love his background
built.
that he's drawn. It's just a few clouds and things behind the castle.
It works.
It does actually. It's enough.
I like the tunnel mouth as well. Actually,
you do like the ones where it looks like they actually have been carved into the landscape, don't you?
I know the weathering on it's really nice.
It is very
as well.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Les does that kind of weathering, doesn't he?
Oh, Les is very good with his weathering.
Is the station building the one from the Railway Children Pack by Bachman, says Garfield?
I think it might be. It could be, but I'm
can
not
you jump
sure.
back?
What?
Can you jump back?
Already done.
Okay. So that was very nice. Thank you, Liam, from New Mills Model Railway. That was a very nice one.
So what have we got up next?
Got a Lord Moore.
Right, big hello to Class 05, Austin Allegro, Ron B, Pete Clark, Ben Tullett, I've probably already mentioned some of you guys, Stephen Cameron. Mary and I had a little touch of food poisoning last week. Oh, sorry to hear that. Food poisoning is it can be pretty nasty.
It's awful.
Tony Wright says, my first train set was a Lone Star triple over. That was actually N-gauge, wasn't it? Before they had decided on calling it N-gauge. With a diesel locomotive which had rubber band transmission.
Wow.
Adrian Warwick says, imagine a DCC controlled TPO. Lots of fun shooting the bags anyway. Right, I'm going to go over it. This is from Skipsy Trains.
It is, and he's put a little bit of text to it with us. Despite the state of the world in 2020, I've put this video together to check out what has happened to Skipsy this year. It's quite surprising how much progress has taken place given the limited time available on the layout. So here's a link to the Skipsy review of 2020.
Oh, I like the lights on your buffer stops. Oh, this is the one with the big viaduct that we like. Oh gosh, that's a lot of baseboard space, I have to say.
You do like your baseboards and space.
Scenic level track, yeah, that's the big junction on the. I love the big junctions. That's a nice crane, actually.
New train wash.
Yeah, that bridge, that's the big river bridge that really like the trains going.
I like that station design.
It's like Art Deco. Oh, Helix.
Class 05 says, Zoe sounds like she's speaking from experience there. Did Jenny give you food poisoning? I think we've both given each other food poisoning.
I've had food poisoning, it's not pleasant.
When we first got married, I was not the best cook. I've had a lot of practice.
Or ballasting. I actually enjoy ballasting, but I know a lot of people find it tedious. Interesting. Nice signals, by the way. So this is yes, you made up your
a nice livery there.
I was see multiple units, modern.
The Radio 1 Road Show.
Did you ever go to one?
I did.
Oh, I think everybody our age went to a Radio 1
Philip
Road
Schofield.
Did you? With me, it was Bruno Brooks. Because I'm older than you. Bruno Brooks. Oh, who was the guy who was on Saturday morning TV with the crow? Mike Reed. Bruno Brooks, Mike Reed. Who was the guy who had the accident and crashed his helicopter? Mike,
I don't know.
Mike somebody or other. And his wife, who was also a presenter on Radio 1 at the time. It was the Teddy Bear. Oh, I've got one of those. The Teddy Bear's Picnic at Tatton Park.
Oh.
You must. Oh, featured in.
Very nice.
Oh, lovely.
You see, I love this kind of thing.
Yeah, there you are. It's show and tell. That's where I started out getting my my model stuff published. I wrote to Model Rail and was in show and tell. But thank you very much for sharing that with us. So,
see, this is what I like when people make stuff like this. So, it may have been a terrible year, but when you think about it, we still managed to achieve an awful lot. Mike and Sue Putnam Junction says Mike Smith.
Yes, that's the one. Richard Swiderski is talking. Noel Edmonds. No, he was long gone from Radio 1 at this time. Tony Blackburn, Philip Page is Tony Blackburn at Sandown on the Isle of Wight. Oh yeah, fantastic, not half, yeah. James Petts approves of Wessex Electrics, and also remembers when they were new. James Petts also agrees with you on the station design. Abitori 33 says, any new turntable from Hornby? I think a turntable ready-made, as good as the Pico one, but excuse me.
My goodness.
But ready-made, just ready to go, I think would go down really well. So this is from Tim Condrup, and it's Bachman and Percy going over the viaduct.
You love this.
So if you make that full screen,
yes, Bachman Percy, not Bachman and Percy. That would be interesting.
Oh yeah, right. Go on.
I have. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Play.
Go on then.
I'd be interested to see when these
Bachman going past the Hornby Collectors Club.
yeah. Screw you.
It's like matter and antimatter.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward actually to when the Bachman Thomas and Friends stuff comes out in the UK, because I probably will invest in one or two. Nostalgia. Oh, you got your Q1 down there. I do like the Q1. It's actually handling that gradient reasonably well, considering it's an 04. I can see it slipping, but that's quite a load on the back of it.
It's a very shiny one, isn't it?
Shiny, shiny. Oh, and a standard class 4 tank. Love them. And I always love that Great Northern and Southern Railway liveried pannier from the Railway Children. So thank you ever so much for...
That is very nice, thank you.
How am I wet? What have I spilt all over? Oh, it's sneezed.
Oh! Oh, Jen! Oh, bringing down the tone.
I was thinking, how am I wet?
Oh, you bring the tone down every time.
Yeah.
You see, we can't take Jenny anywhere.
Well, you can, but you have to take me back to apologise. Skipsy Train says, my first roadshow was at Sandown. I lived in Sheffield at the time, and now just live down the road from the roadshow site. My first roadshow was Steve Wright. Oh, Steve Wright's a legend.
He's a legend, is he?
Tim Davis asks, did anyone see the news? Apparently we're in a lockdown again, just like back in March, is what I've been told. Right.
On to lockdown to Electric
Are you ready?
Avenue. This is an 8 scale diorama, Rugenwalder Bahnhof Pommern in 1944.
Oh.
And this is from...
I like your flag.
J. Paul Anderson. So,
thank you very much, J. Paul Anderson. And there's a lot of detail going on here.
There is, isn't there?
I like the trees as well. Nicely done, those trees. It's always nice to see what is, from our point of view, overseas layouts, because it's more unusual to see this sort of stuff in the UK. But I think they make excellent models, absolutely excellent, and really loving this.
It is so well done. The texture as well, it's really selling it.
Yeah, it has that gritty kind of lived-in, used look about it.
Yes.
I do like those coaches as well.
Nothing shining. Yeah, the coach roofs are different as well. They're not what we would normally see.
Well, it's the style of the... Oh, I like the Locomotives.
Oh, my
464, so that's a Baltic... It's 464, that's Baltic wheel arrangement, isn't it?
It's a big one.
Oh, I like the little shunter.
It's a chunky
Look how
monster.
the shunter's just dwarfed by the tanks.
Wow.
I know, J. Paul Anderson does a lot of these little dioramas, because he's shown us some of his others before. Really, really
Are they all the controls underneath, or is that a radio?
Class... oh, sorry, I've got hair in my mouth.
Of course you have.
Class 05 says, talking about
That is an amazing locomotive.
Talking about announcements, Hatton
Wow.
seemed convinced that the Linton and Barnstable Lynn is due at the end of February, so that's now around £1,100 of stuff on my list. Ooh. Model Railway
that's
Noob,
all
hi
right.
to you. Ben Tullett says it would be great to see the Export Talbot Railway 060 Standard Tank 813 and GWR livery.
The Loco has a BR62. Interesting.
Yes, yeah. Ooh. Gary Lewis saw the Radio 1 Roadshow at Western Supermare Seafront. I'm not sure that they really do the road shows much anymore.
No,
but then again, I'm not really their target audience, so I'm not sure.
Radio 1's changed.
Yeah, it's changed, man.
It's not the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to feel like you were part of a club or a gang by listening to it. You were in the know, and it doesn't feel like that anymore.
And then again, we aren't the target audience.
That is true. I'm just loving this layout.
Yeah, Ham Shackleton says the anti-aircraft gun is too close to the building. If it fired, it would shatter the windows. And then
fine.
some, yeah. it would do a lot of damage. That's something that people don't actually realise, is how much damage the blast from some of these guns can actually do. You certainly got to be careful where you stand, because the blast can perforate your eardrums and all sorts. So, A.D. Pullen, he sent, this one's just a picture, but it's the Backman Collectors Club 1P, but in the Somerset and Dorset joint railway.
So I was going to bring this up, and if you want to, oh my goodness, have a look at that. Bring it up.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Look at the way he's got the movement. He's captured the movement.
It is a
feel of
beautiful,
speed.
yeah, it's the beautiful livery on that locomotive.
Yeah.
There's a part of me wished that I had got one, but another part of me knew that you can commit yourself to too much. And I simply, with everything else that I buy, I couldn't justify it, but it is a beautiful livery. Quite possibly the fastest selling out locomotive in the Collectors Club history, beating the previous record, ironically, which was I think it was the 3F. It was either the 3F or the 4F, the one that they did in, ironically, Somerset and Dorset joint railway livery. So I'm going to go back to the main.
Yeah, Garfield, you're saying exactly what I was saying. Nice action shot, perfect capture, and it really is.
Yeah.
That is a brilliant one. Thank you very much, Addy Pullen.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and... Come on, you. I can never tell the difference between...
Do you need me to move the monitor?
No.
Okay. Oh. Do you want some help?
It's jammed.
It's jammed.
Right. But yeah, this was the previous record holder, which is number 58, Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway, 3F, 4F.
Hang on, I'll bring it up on screen so you can see.
Oh, it's a bit dusty. Bit dusty. Oh god, yeah, that is dusty.
Oh, you're going to change your choose and run something else?
No. But what
you're just going to dust your locos.
I'm just going to dust it whilst I've got it out. I might put this on next week, actually.
Are we having a Steam special next week?
No.
Why haven't you put up any polls for the last couple of weeks, Jen?
Oh, has somebody asked about that?
No, I'm asking now. Is it because you decided
forgot.
to implement a dictatorship and just have your railway, your rules?
No, because I forgot.
You forgot, okay. You forgot. Okay.
Yeah. So, actually, I'm going to put this there to remind me that this is definitely one that I need to run more.
Now, this is a short one. It's
oh right, yeah. Are you ready? Make it.
This is
from the orchard line.
The orchard line.
Oh, it's the garden layout.
Yes, this is a G-scale garden railway on a frosty morning.
I love these garden railways. Really, really love them. Of course, it being a frosty morning, you get a much greater effect for the steam and that.
Yeah.
But this is a lovely little garden railway.
Live steam. Whoa. You can tell it's a cold day for the amount of steam that's coming off.
Simon Train's Model Railway Showcase asks, how many SDJR Locos do I have? Just the 2, I think. Yeah, 2. I've got that, and I've got one of the Bagnall. The gin. It's basically a Ginty, but they.
Yeah, Matt says, has there ever been any SDJR coaches, or are we all waiting on Genesis?
We're all waiting on Project Genesis, as far as I'm aware.
Genesis.
Did you use that in the video that we did?
No, I didn't.
J. Paul Anderson says, indeed, Elephant Tank Destroyer is accompanied by one Nashorn and a Marder.
Wow.
East Coast Team says, have you got SECR C-Class 592? I have it, and the preserved model is worth a fortune now. Yes, I do have that model. I bought it when it came out. Beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, we've got a request here from Dazza1977. Next week, can you run your car transporter wagons?
I've only got 2.
Well, can you run them?
Possibly. Rachel Houston, hi to you there. Nice garden railway.
It really is a nice railway.
Garth in its G scale is all we know, so that will be 45mm track.
That is lovely.
I love the way, like, with the very mature plants and everything fitting in around it. It just feels that it's part of the landscape.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's just plonked on. It's integrated.
Yeah.
And that's something that only comes with time, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's something actually our garden railway's getting there.
You mean our garden railway is overgrown?
It is, yes. But I am going to
putting it, isn't it?
I'm going to relay ours because I'm not happy with the fact that I can't really run much on it. I think the figure of 8 was too ambitious.
Class 05 says, this is tempting me so much. Please stop trying to bankrupt me. Well, I think Jen is in the same boat. She's having to exert willpower to not just purchase everything that she sees.
I know.
So what is the record that you've accidentally found yourself with in your basket at anywhere before?
I got up to about £3,500 last year when Hornby did their announcements, and this was in my pre-orders with Rails. And I actually had so much in my basket that the site was chugging visibly every time I went to look at it.
Oh my goodness! So
James,
you wanted to order so much you broke the website.
Abitoria33 says, what's the best railway film? For me, it's the World War II train filmed in France. Oh, I know the one you mean. For me, I like the Great St. Trinian's train robbery, but that's just me.
You like a bit of funniness with your stuff,
Yeah. Ryan G says, stop these garden railways. They are way too tempting. Laserjet Fan 2, hi to you. I want Hornby to do an updated version of the 14XX. What they have to bear in mind, though, is that DJ Models and for Hattons did one. It didn't sell particularly well. Now, I know that there were flaws with it that people reported to do with the motor. But the problem that Hornby have, to some degree, is that didn't sell very well. So the question mark becomes, would they recoup the money? And I think they might take the view that actually it's not a good safe bet. Right, so the next one, this is from Casson Park
Junction, and it's the
Evening Star. Right, so if you want to bring that up. So, I love the bus.
Nice. Yeah, I was thinking
I've got the same one, but in GMPTE livery.
Yeah, you wanted one that looked nice with Bolton.
Well, yeah, it was the Bolton livery.
Yeah, even though this is like the northeast.
That is actually a really nice 9F, and I love these are the Hornby LNER Gresley coaches, but in the blood and custard livery, and they are really, really nice. At least I'm assuming that the Gresley blood and custard, they're not the Monsell ones, are they?
Garth in the media went TARDIS.
Yeah, he would. Oh dear. Skipsy Trains have been really great to have you in. You take care.
This is a nice looking livery.
Yeah, Naive Gauge as well is knocking off for the night. I know it is getting quite late.
10 to 9, yeah.
So what we're probably going to have to do is... I
like the gardens, the way it's got the difference between the grass growing next to the railway.
Oh, I do
and
like
the very neatly done gardens. It's little attention to detail.
A lot of visual interest. I like the railings.
It's not like a monoculture. It is a very nice, different levels, bits up and down.
Lighting in the buildings.
Yeah, it looks really good. It looks
bit of wheel spin on that 9F.
Well, there you are. That was a very nice one.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, Ryan G. O gauge. If you start buying O gauge, it is a slippery slope. I speak to you from experience, having dabbled in O gauge.
You go for everything.
Yeah. Don't forget, by the way, tickle that like button if you haven't already done so. Do consider sharing the stream on social media such as Twitter or Facebook or Reddit or all that Pinterest.
Jen, we're going to have to make a decision. We have 6 left. Do you want to keep going?
I'm going to say we're going to have to cut and run. We've got another live stream in the morning and the Cupboard Monkey's not feeling the greatest. So we'll park those. We're going to come back to your videos next week. We will start with the ones that we still have. So really, really sorry if we haven't played your video yet, but we're going to carry that over till next.
I'm going to list the people that have sent in. Toby Johnson, Henry's Transport, Logan Clary, Mark Nolte, Somerset Trucking and Andrew Page. I've got your videos. Don't worry. They'll be first up for next week.
No worries. So we're going to round off the stream now because the Cupboard Monkey's not feeling too well. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow morning from 9:30 a.m. GMT. If you're in a different time zone, you'll need to work out that. And the actual announcement goes official at 10, but we're starting half an hour early so we can sort of ease it in, get people on board, and then we're going to go through the Hornby announcements as they happen. So stand by for some great excitement. Hopefully it's going to be a great stream tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks to everybody who sent in videos, and thank you all for your company. It's been great hanging out with you here on the Monday Club, where everybody is always welcome, and we are going to keep going all the way through lockdown and beyond.
Picture come through? No.
Not seen it.
No, it hasn't. Oh, hang on. No. It has. Give me one moment. It has.
So we'll just show...
It's gone into the spam buffer, and that's what's happened there.
Right, no worries.
I do apologise.
So we're going to quickly show that, and then we're going to cut and run.
I'm not going to find it again because I've
But
moved it into
definitely, I
not
think
spam.
it's really, really important that it's a lot of people not able to get out because there's no shows, not able to get out to model shops, not in the clubs have all shut down, which means that for a lot of people it can be quite lonely, and it's where we do feel that the Monday Club is all about giving people that contact with like-minded people that's so important. So we are here for you guys all the way through lockdown and beyond. So do take great care of yourself. We're just going to try and find this picture. The cupboard monkey.
Gmail's being annoying. Right, okay, let's have a look.
Are we going to be able to find this?
Yeah. Well, I say yes we can.
So so these are, oh, this is the K1 Garrett.
Yes, Garfield says, I've included a couple of pictures of my 16mm K1, well, K2, on my fireplace mantle as I finally put it on display. Tried to say in the chat there I would love to see pre-1900 industrials and updated GWR and Midlands clear stories with working lights and improved bogies. So, I bring this up.
Radio. I'm going to move on over to the browser. So this is the this is Garthian's K1 Garrett. This is, I think it said, is it 16mm to the foot? So it's
16mm K1, well, K2 he says.
So it basically would be running on O gauge track, 32mm track, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But these are lovely locomotives. I'd love one myself, but I went and looked up how much they are, and it's like, oh my word! My first car didn't cost that much. But it's a lovely, lovely model. So a big thank you to Garthian for sending that in. Yeah, but we really are.
That's really nice.
Thank you ever so much for that. But like I said, don't forget, catch us tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning, and we're going to be doing the full Hornby announcements as they happen from 10. So do remember to, I think the stream's actually already there as a placeholder.
Ready, yeah.
So don't forget to share that on social media and subscribe if you've not already done so. And we'll catch you then. Until then, you take great care of yourself. Bye for now.
Bye.
Oh, this is embarrassing.